Let's take on the world with Atlas Priest. The idea behind this deck is a combination of Cubicle and Atlasaurus, the brand new big beastie minion for Priest, will allow you to have an infinite wall of taunts that most opponents aren't going to be able to deal with, hopefully. And in order to make this combo easier to pull out, we're going to be using a combination of Sharp Eye Lookout and Twilight Medium to either set the Cubicle or Atlasaurus to 1 mana so we can slam both of them down on the same turn, and use things like Rest in Peace to also enable this combo. Now, this is a grindy control style list, so if you're not a fan of those, just watch the game and have some fun. For the Mulligan guide of the list, you are going to be looking for Sharp Eye Lookout is the most important card. And then you're going to be looking for any of the Imbue package or draw power cards. Now, with that being said, let's look at some games. Okay, Warlock. Let's see what this actually could be. There are a few different cool Warlock lists floating around right now, but there's a lot of experimenting going on still. It could easily just be like a pre-existing deck. Okay, I'm just going to pass it back. Coin into what? Is this going to actually give me any idea of, like, not really, no. There's too many Warlock decks running that card to actually give me any type of knowledge there. Okay, Atlasaurus now is not really the great plan here, but it is what it is. I'm just going to draw another card just because we can. Kaldorei Priestess is actually probably a better card to be able to discount by 1. To be fair, we won't be able to, given how this deck actually works, so. Gotta love when people do stuff like that. Okay, there's Hellfire. Again, not much knowledge on what this actually could be. Like medium. I think we go Priestess, Hero Power, see what we grab. Something cool, maybe, perhaps, huh? Also, I've really wanted to do like a thematic Xalatath deck, but sadly I realized the most thematic Xalatath deck that we could probably do in Priest would probably be Bandage Priest, which we've already covered on the channel, and it didn't get any new support cards in the mini set, so that's why we're not doing it. Instead, I figured might as well do something with the big beasties that were introduced in this mini set, right? Now, is this going to be a better version of what already existed? Maybe not, but at least it'll be fun, right? So far in testing this if you're looking for a control deck, try the warrior list that I uploaded last. But you never know. This could come out with some like really fun, grindy. Like here's the thing that I've come to the conclusion of. Grindy decks don't really exist too much in Standard right now. I mean, they do, but they don't, right? Stuff like Starship Demon Hunter, I guess, would fit in that category, or like there are a few grindy decks, right? But like it takes a little bit of luck to get to that game state. I mean, yeah, I might as well take that, but I don't want to use it. I also thought about maybe like I thought about doing something with like acupuncture and a bunch of other shadow spells for Xalatath since she's like the void person. But you know, I don't know. You might actually be getting a few priest decks this week. It really just depends on like how A, I'm feeling, and B, interesting. Okay, so what was the point of doing that? But yeah, I have a lot of different individual priest ideas. I kind of wanted to do something with Xylotath, but I also am like leaning towards doing something with like Egg or the new like Egg Legendary and Priest. But at the same time, I don't know even if I want to really do that, truth be told. I think we hero power and do it like this. Get rid of this minion. Oh. Well. Oh, never mind. I was going to say we're one off, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm always trying to be at least 1 or 2 videos ahead, but right now, there's a lot of ideas that I've had that just haven't worked how I wanted them to work, right? Which means you might get a little bit more of memeless, generally speaking, but like it could be really, really fun. I really want to do something or like another combo deck. That's the thing that I'm really been looking forward to doing, but like most of the combo decks that I've tried have just felt really, really awful to play. I will freely admit to that. Which is why we're depending on when this goes up, this will either be before a combo deck or right after one. Recording wise, it'll probably be recorded. Well, it is recorded right after the Draco Rex warrior list that we just put up. But uh, content wise, I sometimes swap the order of like when I record stuff. If like there's a deck that I really, really enjoy. Wow. It just depends on how I'm actually feeling, I guess. Because I really want to do something with Amalgam. I also want to do something with Call Ferrero, which is why I've like tested a bunch of different versions of that too. I just don't know. Like some of them were probably trying a little bit too much. I also kind of want to do something with like the Rogue Legendary before I forget he exists again. That also depends on like what I'm actually facing against, because if I'm facing against a lot of questline decks, I think that card is decent just because no one's going to expect it out of a rogue. And that could be cool. Get some type of like quest reward and then like make use of it. But like I'm trying to think of like what quest reward you would really care. Well, I mean you can't get Warlock, which is probably the most common quest right now. Or in hindsight, maybe that card isn't as good of a counter to quest decks as I thought it would be. Because what? Warlock's the most common, Paladin is like the other really common quest, and both of those legitimately can't be targeted by the legendary. I mean, if you're facing against a lot of shaman quests, I guess that would make sense. Oh, we could do quest shaman. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, table flip to get rid of our minions. Nice, slow, grindy game. Okay. Slam down our cubicle combo. Because it doesn't really rely on us always. Oh, trainee dummy is kind of funny, especially if that survives. I'm assuming he won't, but it would be cool if he did. It has to be Bob, right? Also, Avatar of Hearthstone, I just forgot existed. Because, like, most of the time it's just going to give you minions, right? I think there's more minions than any type or of other card. So, which means if you have a full board, it's just not going to do anything. For 9 mana, it is kind of depressing. That card does nothing, essentially, most of the time. Go for bird watching. Sure, Soothe Fancy is kind of cool. If I had one more slot, I would definitely go with the trainee dummy there. Oh, wait, we would have had actual space. Because, wait, what do we have? Yeah, we would have. Oh, man, that could have been, would have made this a lot more interesting, but it is what it is. Okay, are they actually going to be able to clear out the board, or are they just going to be able to do part of the board? Okay. Is Sarah into... I guess they were probably just being like, hey, we can slam down kill... Oh. I was going to say they can slam down kill Jaden quickly in order to just, like, overwhelm us with a bunch of, like, huge minions. Which isn't necessarily a bad idea, right? Okay, resurrect an Arminian. We can freeze everything out, so we're not going to take damage that way. See what else we can get. Might as well go for Messenger. We could have lost... no, we don't want the silence. Then we get on our Atlasaurus here. The nice thing about Atlasaurus, especially in this deck, is like it usually is a big enough wall that it wins you the game, right? Like it gives you there is a direct counter in Standard Hearthstone right now, which is Kane, right? Kane kind of counters this deck completely. Hopefully you don't run into him, but Demon Hunter is kind of common, and I think every single Demon Hunter deck does run the card nowadays, so okay, there's the Avatar. What? Again, I'm very, very curious of, like, what our opponent was thinking here. Theoretically, like, their idea of going... Interesting. Well, there goes one. Fingers crossed one of the Atlas horses survive. Well, actually, one has to survive, right? And then we just rinse and repeat what we did last turn. Give us a big taunt. You know, that could have been a lot worse. Oh. 18-18. Well, Rest in Peace is kind of funny. I was really hoping we would get anything else there. Trying to think how I want to do this, actually. Okay, there's Atlasaur again. Because this should be enough taunts, right? Theoretically, we do have a lot of, like, taunt minions on board, and then we can keep on summoning them, too. And it's not like they're going to have, like, any AoE to get rid of the cubicle here. We have at least 1, 2, 5, 6, 8 taunts in between them and us. Would be really funny if we got, like, a poisonous taunt, which doesn't, I don't think, exist. But yeah, like, most big taunts do something when they are destroyed nowadays. So, I mean, the deck works, right? Okay, there's Wretched Queen. Okay. Zell, come on, give us something cool as the last card. We don't have any dragons, but I'll take the Dark Rider just to take the Dark Rider. Okay, let's swap these two. Just makes it a little bit harder for them to, like, remove it. I get it. We probably should have done that on the cubicle, but I think this is the better bet. Especially given the fact that those are the two spells we got. Divine Star is alright, I guess. Okay, get rid of an Arminian. Slam down Atlasaur. I don't know what number at this point. And then we got 2 here. I am so curious if they just... If they slammed down the kill chain just because they were like, I don't know what they are playing, but it looks like it's funny, so let's just give them a chance. I've had opponents like that in the past where it's like, I don't know what you're up to, but it looks kind of cool. I've also done that a few times too, where I'm like, I could win this turn, but I kind of want to see how the deck goes off, you know? We just got to get rid of the 21-22 is the main. Well, I mean, I did say all we have to do is get rid of the big minion, but I also think we probably get rid of Doomsayer. I just have a sneaking suspicion that I rather just keep the chain going. Also, I guess we don't really need to keep the chain going. Might as well, right? Okay. We'll get a bunch of 1-cost minions. Okay. Cubicle's not bad. We can reset the combo. I should have actually checked that before. That's my bad. Okay, there's a cubicle again. But I kind of want to go with the priestess. But I don't know. Cubicle is fine, I guess, in the long run. Also, probably should have used that on the cubicle. Okay, what's our top deck? Atlasauruses. Okay. I mean, again, we can reset the combo, which is nice. Who will win? A bunch of humongous demons or surprisingly smaller... Oh. Well, at least we can reset the combo. I forgot that card existed. I know it was introduced in this set, but, like, it is very, very easy to forget something like that exists. Okay. I mean, we can just slam down the Atlasaurus. Honestly, we got kind of lucky with, like, the random generation there, right? Because it gets rid of a good chunk of the board. Doesn't get rid of everything, but it does remove a few cards. Heal up a little bit more. Heals our cubicle back. Might as well use the second cubicle. What are we getting? Not the best taunt, but it is a taunt, so I'm not worried. Moonwell? Might as well, right? Okay. Ice Trap. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure the last card is going to be the Dark Rider. But we'll just pass it back. We've been in this game for 22 minutes. You know, the deck did what I was hoping it would do, which is just be a big pain in the butt. GG, buddy? Huh? Hey. All right, now we're through the game, so let's go to my final thoughts of deck. So, how did this deck perform? Well, not so great. This is one of those decks that I think, honestly, isn't too far off of okay. But as it currently stands, Atlasaurus honestly just costs a little bit too much. The pool of taunts that you can randomly generate off this card is actually incredibly strong right now. But being 8 mana and Priest not having access to that many mana sheet cards outside of like Twilight Medium and Lookout makes you have to run some cards that you normally wouldn't want to run since they don't really do much. Overall, though, if you're looking for something to do with Atlasaurus from the mini set, this is probably one of the better opportunities to do something with him. But honestly speaking, don't craft this deck unless you already have all the cards in it. But like always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.